Welcome to the next chapter. Alright, so we've got this really cool shield created, and what we need to do now is gonna add a banner that goes right across the top, and I'm just gonna make some fake text to go along with it. And what I've concocted will look like this when we're complete. So in order to get this done, we've got to make this shape here and that whole banner right there. We've obviously we have to create this text, and then there's some shading going on. That's what we're going to start now. So to begin with, I'm going to clean all this shield stuff up a little bit, all these layers right in here. Make sure they're all selected. And right over here, new set from linked. Just call this shield. Excellent. So come over here, grab the pen tool, and I'll create a few areas right over here, a few little points. Kind of start, high point, a low point, another high point, low point, and then come right back around. And then close that off. So this is the wrong color. So go ahead and double click that. And what I want, a little bit of a tan color. Perfect. Go ahead and hide the shield. And now, with the convert point tool, I will start, come in here, just start smoothing everything out. So maybe these points are a little bit too, I'm going to like the shield layer, but maybe these points are a little bit too, these valleys and highs and lows, a little bit too strong. So we can go back here and select this. I got the error because I didn't have this vector mask selected. So just take these 2 points, holding down Control, and move them down. Select over these 2 points, holding down Control, move them up, and the same for these over here. I'll move these in closer to this area right here so I can make that curve a little bit more sharp. And I see that I've got a little bit of difference in the thickness from here to over here, so I'll take this point, move it up, and I'll round this corner out just a little bit more. Alright. Drag these points in. So now what there is to do is to create the leaves that come in under here. Now one thing you may have noticed is that when I initially created this shape, it automatically gave me this stroke effect. And in order to do that, I could come over here, like let's say I've created, let's just say I just created this stroke effect. I just added it to it. I can insert all these different values that I want, come over here and click New Style, and we'll give this a name. So this one we'll call 1 point outline. Hit OK, hit OK, and now whenever we make another shape, right up here we've got this style, and that one right there is 1 point outline. So we can turn off layer effects whenever we make new shapes, and that would look something like this. Okay, and if we change the color, we can see that there's no effect assigned to it. So we'll just delete that. And if we did it once more, and this time assigning to it this 1 point outline, this is what we get. So now to create these other leaf sections, get the pen tool, and instead of changing the color later, I'll just go ahead and set it now. So we can create this shape here. Close that off. Come in with the anchor point tool. So now we've got this little leaf section that comes right underneath. Move this over real quick to line it up. There we go. Now we'll make one more section. And actually, since I know that this belongs down here, the only other section, well, the way we make this next section, you can make it as precise if you want, but if you are going to place this under the shield, then all this has to look like at least when you draw it, is like this. Now we can move this up and around. If we don't want it right there, we can just move it underneath this. And there we are. So to create the other side, I'll just take this section here, duplicate it, move it over here, and then under Edit, Transform Path, flip vertical, Control T so I can rotate this to the proper degree. See, I've got a little bit of a sliver, a little bit of a dark spot right there. So I can rotate this to that point. Moving this would probably be easier, not in free transform. I can use the up and down cursor keys to nudge this slightly. You can see in the history it's even called nudge. And then take this shape right here, duplicate this. We move it over here. And now we've created the banner. Before we add the shading, there's another section that we need to add. So we've got the banner created and the leaves and the little tongue things. Now there's just the text. So the text for this, I will originate from the path of the original banner on top. So come over here to Paths, and I will double click the vector mask, and we'll call this text path. I'll put everything in here in a layer set. Again, notice that I can have nested layer sets. So new set from linked. Call this shield and banner. I'll just turn this off. And I'll just delete points now. The only thing I really want to keep, because I'm about to assign text to a path, the only thing I really want to keep is this bottom path right down here. Everything above this is inconsequential to me. So take all these points, delete those. Now in order to break this, in order to open this up, I'll take this last nugget right here and just backspace or delete that. So now I've got a path that is not closed. So I will take this, and my text will be centered. I'll just add some archaic text. I don't. Okay, so this is not at all showing up. There we are. So what had happened is that the actual text parts for the start and stop point on this path had all collapsed right down here to the very end. So it was starting and stopping at the exact same spot. Now in order to, you're about to change the position of the start and stop, when you come over here to the path or direct select tool, and see that little black diamond? That tells you what you're about to select. So in the black diamond on the right, that's the start. The black diamond on the left is the stop. And because I like the spacing, I just like the spacing of the words, or the letters from each other, I'll add 2 spaces in between each word. Alright, So we've got that set. Turn this back on, and it fits excellent. Now if yours doesn't fit excellent, there are a few adjustments that you probably want to play with. So for starters, maybe your text is too large or small. So you've got this type font thing over here. The size of your font is right there. I've got mine, at least for this purpose, I've got mine set to 18. Something else that you may want to look into setting is this, the baseline shift right here. And if I set this low, then it actually drops my text below the line. And if I set it at 0, or thereabouts, then it puts my text right on the line. Now since I want my text to be a little bit centered, I increase the baseline shift to something above 0. And if your text is too squishy, like the letters are right on top of each other, you may want to have a look at this value right here. And this is the tracking. Now mine I currently have set to 0. I could probably space that a little bit more. If I did that, something that I'd want to set would be where the stop point for this is. Bring it up just a little bit. And now it kind of centers that. And maybe bring the start point in. And when I add the lines on the left and right, we'll probably change these. But for right now, it's centered on the shield, it's centered in the actual banner. Oh, and there's one other thing. If your text is flipped like that, all you need to do is come to one of these points and flip it over the line. So it's above the line, now it's below the line. Alright. So we've got that set up. So we now have the text on top of the banner. Everything's looking quite nice. So now that we've got that added, all that there is to add left would be, now we'll just start adding the shading. And the shading will start right here with, we'll start with this. We'll create a shadow from the actual banner onto the shield itself. So we'll duplicate this. And this one I'll remove the layer effects from what will be the shadow. I'll pull this down a little bit. Undo that. Every once in a while my move tool likes to auto select layer without letting me know, so I have to turn it on and off. And I got an error saying I could not do it because some of my layers are locked, which means that this layer is linked to all the others. So I've now unlinked it. I'll move this down just a smidge. Darken this color by double clicking on it. And setting multiply. And when I click on this, it hides the path. So the only other problem right now is it's not actually, well, the shadow's going beyond the shield. So I've got my vector mask, and I'll come in here to the shield layer and control select the shield itself and set that as a layer mask on top of this vector mask. And now the shadow falls nice and even right there. and I'm just setting the base colors for these little interior leaflets. And these right here, I'll add a gradient overlay on top of these. And I don't want a black and white, but what I want is, instead of a black to white, I want an opaque to transparent. And I'll hit OK. And I'll just change the angle of this. Now that's a little too dark for me. Right in here, that's a little bit too dark. So I'll open this up again. And when you open up the gradient editor, what you get a top row and a bottom row. The top row is the opacity for each point on this gradient, and the bottom row are the colors. So you can see that the two colors I have right now are black and black. And the two colors I have in the opacity are opaque, and over here on the right, which is white, this is transparent. Now my opacity is way too much, so I'll turn this down. Maybe I'll set it to right there. And now that's great, but it's a little bit too smooth for me, so I'll shrink this in. So now I get a little bit of a harder edge. Oh, undo that. If you select on a point, it creates something new, and if you don't like it, you can just simply delete it with this button right here. I'm going to add one more. There we go. Hit OK. And I can create this as another style. Call this banner tongue gradient. Hit OK. Select on this layer. And to add this new style that I just created, I'll just click this button right here. These are various styles. Most of these come with Photoshop, and if you want to add more, just click this little triangle here and you get all these new effects. But the only one I really want is the one that I just made. And the only thing I need to change in this gradient overlay is just the angle. Okay. And now there's the gradient to set on the top of the banner. This one's going to be much more slight. So down here, I know you can't see it, but down here there's gradient overlay. And again, I don't want a black to white, but I want an opaque to transparent and vice versa. And with this, what I need to set this along the angle of that the banner's flowing. And now what there is to do is just create enough highs and lows such that there's a low here, here, and right here, and a high at the high points. So change the opacity. Something, there we go. And this one right over here, the other end, I'll set that to whatever I have this one at, 52. Add another point right here. Opacity down to 0. One more right here with opacity at 52. And one more right here with opacity at 0. Now that's pretty strong, so I'll probably take this value and turn this way down. Hit OK. So I didn't change the scale. The blending mode I didn't change because all the colors are black. And finally, there's just to create, I'm going to close these up real quick, just to create a shadow right here on the shield. So what I need to do is I need to create a adjustment layer, which is a gradient. And for right now, I'll just click OK. And I need the shield shape to be the layer mask. So right now, everything that is inside this selection is white, which is true, so I'll just Control-Shift-I and invert my selection and turn everything outside of this to black, or Alt-Backspace. Well, it sure isn't letting me do that, is it? And the reason it is not letting me do that is that I have the actual shield layer set locked. So I will unlock that real quick. And perfect. So this gradient, we'll keep it just like this for now. Set the angle to 0, so now it's going left to right. Change the style from linear to reflected. So now it's going to be right down the middle. And if you take a close look, you can see that this is the blackest part right down the shield. And then right over here on the left, you can see a little bit more of the shield. So that's letting me know that the actual opaque part is right in the middle, and the transparent parts are right out on the sides. And that's exactly opposite of what I want, so I will press this reverse button right here. Okay, which is, maybe I'll change this, turn the scale down a little bit. I can mess with some of these layers in here if I want. Hit OK, and hit OK. And what we've got now, what we have now is a shield with a banner and shading on it. And that is the end of this chapter.